This isn't a Netflix courtroom drama. This actually happened. The jury just dropped a murder verdict, tensions boiling over, and before anyone can say order in the court, fists start flying at the door of a courthouse. You can almost feel the air crackle with rage, families, grief, revenge. It all detonates the moment justice is announced. But here's the kicker. This judge, he's not about to let his courtroom turn into the Thunderdome. As the gavel slams down, he turns what could have been chaos into a masterclass on authority, law, and composure. So stay locked in, because this case goes from verdict to viral meltdown in less time than it takes to say contempt of court.
We have three individuals here. As the court would place in the record, within the last hour, the court received a verdict from the jury in the case of Steven Angel in a murder case, and the jury found the defendant guilty of the offense of murder as alleged in the indictment. So the court accepted the verdict and then broke for the lunch hour. And as participants and the jury and spectators were leaving the courtroom, this court saw some activity at the doorway, and I could see one or two bodies, and it was obvious that physical confrontation was going on at the doorway, inside the doorway, and at the doorway of this courtroom, as the court was still in session on this matter. I've reviewed a video, because we got videos everywhere, and I see three people flailing, punching at each other at the doorway of this courtroom and breaking some of the chairs outside. But it was
Imagine you've just watched months of testimony, legal jargon, emotional witnesses, and then you see people brawling right outside the very room where justice was just served. It's pure irony. A murder case concluded under the rule of law, and the audience decides to settle things with their fists. This is exactly why contempt laws exist. Inside a courtroom, even anger has rules. The judge's fury here isn't personal. It's symbolic. If he lets this go, the entire system looks like a joke. What do you think? Should physical fights near the court be punished like any other crime? Or should emotions after a verdict earn some leniency?
A free-for-all fist fight going on. Y'all three, I recognize all three of you. This is a court of justice, a courthouse of justice, of honor. This is the last thing that should ever happen in this building, because we're trying to resolve problems in a humane and dignified and educated and advanced method. We're not cavemen, although you three acted like it, like we were back in the caves again, without any rules, without any sense of respect for each other. The proceedings moved forward in due process. The jury had their job, the attorneys had their job, and then we went through the penal code, the code of criminal procedure, and the rules of evidence to get to a disposition in this case, like we do in every case, using the rule of law, not fist fighting in front of the public. Can you imagine if this is what we did normally? We don't really need a building. We just meet and punch it out. We're not cavemen. We're supposed to be advanced thinkers. But not everybody thinks advanced thought. That's foolish. That was foolish. And I see assaults. Now, I understand that no one wants to press charges against anybody. But let me tell you this, I'm pressing the charges. You do it, at the door of my courtroom while in session, you're going to get held in contempt of court. All three of you are charged with contempt of court. Carries
And
with
there it is, the hammer drop. Nobody wanted to press charges, but the judge basically says, too bad, I'm pressing them for you. That's not ego, it's protocol. Courts protect the sanctity of process. When chaos breaks out on their turf, it's an assault on the very idea of justice. He could have let it slide, but instead he's turning this into a teachable moment for the entire county. Constructive contempt might sound fancy, but it boils down to this. You embarrass the court, now the court's going to educate you in jail.
carries with it up to 60 days in jail, 180 days in jail, 6 months, 6 months. And don't think I won't set an example, because this isn't going to be the kind of activity that decent, law-abiding, advanced human thought in America is supposed to be about. And it'll be made an example out of. And we got the video, and it didn't happen exactly in my presence. So it's going to be what's called constructive contempt. It still happened over this court's authority and power at the door of its courtroom while in session, which means I can't hold a hearing right now. But what I'm going to do is you're all arrested. You're going to go to jail, and we'll bring you back, and we'll have hearings on each of these cases, and I'll get to make the determination up to 6 months in the county jail. And don't you think I won't make an example? Because this isn't the kind of behavior which you can do and then walk away from it as though nothing happened. We're supposed to set examples of behavior for all of us. And some of these cases have terrible situations. I presided over the James Byrd murder cases. I was one of the prosecutors. You don't think that was hostile? Because there were a lot of folks who felt like justice needed to be served in different ways, but we did the rule of law. The rule of law worked. Those people were prosecuted and then executed for what they did. You don't think that the experience and the sacrifices that we put in to see humanitarian ways of doing justice and
This part hits hard. The judge invokes one of the most infamous hate crime cases in American history, the murder of James Byrd Jr., to remind everyone what rule of law really means. He's saying if that community could endure unimaginable hate and still rely on due process, then no one in this courtroom has any excuse for violence. It's both a moral gut punch and a warning. You can feel decades of courtroom scars behind that speech. Honestly, this isn't just about 3 hot-headed spectators. It's about defending civilization from slipping back into chaos.
And the rule of law and due process works? Or is there another way? No, it worked so that the people knew that this Constitution, the flag, and the rules in the Constitution are something to be honored, that we handle our problems in a disciplined, mature, advanced method so that we are the example for the rest of the world. But that's not the way that worked out there in that doorway. All y'all did was acted like the kids do at school grounds before we learned and get educated, duking it out there in front of everybody. People are here to resolve their problems in an honorable, disciplined way under the rule of law. What kind of example is that set that y'all can duke it out and just flail at each other, break things, and disrupt the proceeding? Disrupted my proceeding. I had to stop the proceedings that we were conducting here to finish this. But you got my attention, and you're gonna have hearings, each of you, and I'll get to make the decision, because you don't have a jury trial. It's in front of me. And you can be ultimately sentenced in jail up to 6 months. Does everybody understand that? All of you? Okay, I need everybody's names. So all of you will be arrested. Each of you are going to be, there's a bond that I'm ordering of $1,000 in each case, for each case. I'm going to set this for a hearing in 4 to 6 weeks. And if you're unable to hire an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. Are all of you going to be able to hire attorneys, or are you going to need appointed attorneys? Sir, you're going to hire somebody, and you, sir, Ms. Point, you want somebody? We're going to get you to fill something out. I need him to do an indigent form. And again, criminal contempt is punishable because it concerns an act which affronts the dignity and authority of the court. And the primary purpose of criminal contempt proceeding is to vindicate the public authority. And committing assaults in the doorway of a courtroom where in this courthouse where justice is the determining goal in all of our proceedings in a dignified and non-hostile way of advanced human actions and thought. That's the way we're supposed to conduct ourselves. And every case has emotional issues. We never have problems like we had just a moment ago. And that cannot be tolerated, and it will not be. It will have its punishment attached to the actions. Does everybody understand? All right, that is all. We're in recess on this.
And that's how it ends. 3 people in cuffs, $1,000 bond each, in a courtroom reminded that justice isn't a street fight. It's structure, restraint, and consequence. The judge made his point loud and clear: disrespect the court, and you'll pay with time. Contempt may sound minor, but it's the backbone of courtroom order. Without it, every verdict could dissolve into shouting matches and bruises. If you found this case as wild as we did, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments. Were the contempt charges fair? And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life courtroom breakdowns that prove truth is stranger than fiction.
Then you're all taken into custody and $1,000 bond.
Can I
is
get
ordered.
No, we'll take care of it. We're gonna have a story all
Sure,
that.
yeah, talk to the bailiff and they'll work it out with you. Thank you.